So you know that feeling when a crazy week at work just leaves your whole body aching, or your stomach in absolute knots? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving right beneath the surface to look at the mind-body connection. We're going to uncover the really quiet, kind of hidden ways that ongoing stress physically impacts your health over time.
I love this concept because, let's be real, stress doesn't usually announce itself with some dramatic breakdown, right? It's way more of a slow creep. You might just think you're having a few off days, but those little, subtle signs, like terrible sleep, zero energy, or maybe just feeling constantly on edge, that's actually your body responding to complex psychological signals. It starts super quietly, but man, it builds up.
All right, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to quickly hit 5 key areas. First, the silent body alarm. Then, draining sleep and energy, disrupting digestion and appetite, triggering tension and pain, and finally, recovering mind and body. Let's jump in.
Okay, Section 1, the silent body alarm. Let's establish our baseline.
Now, it's absolutely crucial we make a distinction right out of the gate between short-term and prolonged stress. A lot of people forget this, but occasional, short-term stress, that's actually a super helpful biological response. It gives you this sharp, awesome boost of focus to crush an immediate challenge. But prolonged stress, well, that's a whole different ballgame. That's a chronic state. It's like the alarm system just never shuts off, and that's what causes that ongoing wear and tear on your body.
So how exactly does this alarm work? It's basically a 3-step cascade. First, your brain detects a threat. Second, boom, it releases a flood of stress hormones. And third, your body physically reacts. But here's the wild part. Your brain literally hasn't evolved to tell the difference between a hungry predator and, say, a really annoying modern inconvenience. So if you're just sitting in brutal daily traffic, your body reacts exactly as if you were running for your life. Crazy, right? Speaking of that brutal daily commute, a surprisingly effective way to manage that specific trigger is by just practicing some simple relaxation or breathing exercises right there in the driver's seat. Seriously, taking deep, intentional breaths actually sends a manual override signal to your brain. It basically reaches in and resets that alarm before it can cause any systemic damage. Moving on to Section 2, draining sleep and energy, or what we call the exhaustion cycle.
So, the real culprit behind this whole exhaustion cycle, it's cortisol. That's your body's primary stress hormone. You can think of it as a chemical messenger that's perfectly designed to keep you alert. But if it stays elevated for way too long, it literally keeps your brain totally wired. It actively prevents your body from transitioning into that deep, restorative sleep that you so desperately need for daytime energy. Let's picture a totally realistic scenario. Say you're studying or working super late into the night under intense pressure. All that elevated cortisol makes getting true rest practically impossible. So, to fight back against this energy drain, you've got to prioritize a highly consistent sleep routine. Hitting the pillow and waking up at the exact same time every single day, that is literally one of the most powerful habits you can build to regulate those hormones over time. All right, rolling into Section 3, disrupting digestion and appetite. This is all about the gut-brain connection.
Remember that prolonged alert state we just talked about? Well, when your body genuinely thinks it's in constant danger, it rapidly diverts energy away from any function it thinks is non-essential for your immediate survival. And guess what? Digestion is the very first thing to get cut. This physiological pause is exactly why you might get stomach knots or notice sudden crazy changes in your appetite. For instance, if you're going through a period of really intense financial pressure, you might find that your appetite just completely vanishes. To get things moving again, you actually have to consciously signal safety back to your body. Taking meaningful, dedicated breaks, even just stepping away from your desk for a quick walk, literally tells your nervous system, hey, the emergency is over, and that allows your gut to finally come back online.
Okay, Section 4, triggering tension and pain. Let's talk about the physical guard.
You know, your body is incredibly protective of you. During stressful moments, it reflexively tenses your muscles just to guard against potential physical injury. It is literally bracing for impact. But if the psychological stress never actually ends, that muscle guarding never stops either, and that leads straight into chronic tightness and those persistent nagging headaches. Say you're dealing with some ongoing relationship stress. You might unconsciously hike your shoulders up around your ears all day long without even noticing, until it becomes this severe tension headache. The absolute best fix here? Regular physical activity. A quick workout or a brisk walk acts like a physical release valve. It practically shakes that trapped tension right out of your muscles. Now, I do want to throw in a quick but super important reminder here, just as a knowledgeable friend. Stress does not directly cause every single physical illness out there, and we are absolutely not diagnosing illnesses today. If you've got persistent or concerning symptoms, please always go chat with a qualified healthcare professional just to be safe.
And that brings us to our final section, number 5, recovering mind and body. Let's look at holistic management.
Because understanding how all this stress stuff works is really only half the battle, right? Managing it is the other half. Look at these core evidence-based strategies. Physical activity, that directly releases trapped muscle tension. Consistent sleep, that actively resets your cortisol levels. And taking those meaningful breaks signals safety to your brain, which restarts systems like your digestion. As you can see, it's this deeply interconnected web of recovery.
But honestly, just physical habits aren't quite enough. We have to support the mind too. Staying connected with supportive people gives you immense psychological relief. On top of that, taking massive, overwhelming tasks and just breaking them down into tiny, manageable steps that can drastically lower your daily mental burden. It basically stops those brain alarms from ringing in the first place.
I really want to leave you with this thought. We aren't aiming for a completely stress-free life here. That's impossible. We're aiming for a resilient one. Stress is just a normal part of life. The goal isn't to magically eliminate every single stressful moment. The goal is to make sure the daily wear and tear is met with an equal amount of real, holistic recovery for both your mind and body. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I've got a challenge for you. Look at your own routine and ask yourself, what is one small, completely manageable step you can take today to give your body the recovery it actually deserves? Is it a quick 10-minute walk? Heading to bed just 30 minutes earlier, or maybe just taking 3 really deep breaths the next time you're stuck in traffic. Whatever it is, start small, build the habit, and give your body a break. Thanks so much for joining me today.